Today we're going to talk about patterns. Now, patterns are a highly interesting subject, not only because 99% of what you do and think is based on patterns, but also because when looking at the patterns you currently repeat, you can decide whether your future will be bright or will be a disappointment. Now, how can I make these claims? Well, let's start with one. The biggest portion of life is based around patterns. Now, to understand why this is the case, you gotta understand how you think. In short, you have two modes of thinking. You have a conscious mode and you have an unconscious mode or an automatic mode. Now, when you play chess for the first time, you'll know the rules, but you haven't played it yet. So you know what to do, but not exactly how and where. So when you play it, you'll be very conscious with every move you make. This is the critical thinking, the weighing options, the looking at what you can do and what you should do, discovering things. That's the conscious one. Now, if you're an expert in chess, then you'll probably know, okay, I like the London opening, so this is what I will play. And you'll play the first moves on autopilot. This is a pattern. And you don't really consciously think, though you're playing the same game. Or if an opponent puts a certain piece in a certain place, you know, okay, now if I move my piece here, he will do this and I'll have a rook or I'll have a horse. You recognize things, right? Because you've experienced it consciously and you know this works, so you've put it into a habit, like a formula, up, and now you store it here, and autopilot runs it when it sees the cue, when it recognizes the situation. So, funny thing, you don't use this one too often, or rather your brain tries to use it very little because it takes a lot of energy and your brain likes to save energy. So what he likes to do is use this part of your brain as much as you can because it's very efficient. I mean, imagine you have to think about everything you do on a daily basis, completely conscious, weigh out all the options. I mean, you would be drained after the morning. So, these are the two ways of thinking. Now, as you can understand, since this one is the one that's pretty much running your life is based on patterns you repeat. Patterns in social settings, patterns in work, patterns in behavior you do, patterns in hobbies, patterns in speech, everywhere there are patterns. Everywhere you can imagine there are patterns. And that's why I can confidently say that 99% of your life is just purely based on patterns. And as you can imagine, if you have good patterns, it's pretty easy to predict the outcome. If you have a guy who goes to the gym every day, it's pretty easy to say he's going to be ripped in a few years. And if you have a guy who eats chips all day or orders out food every day, it's pretty easy to say he's going to be a fatty in a few years, right? So, patterns and the power of them. Now, what is a pattern exactly? Let's talk about that a little more. As you can remember from the chess example, it all starts with a cue of action, a behavior or a moment or a situation your brain recognizes to launch that pattern, right? Let's take the example of feeling stressed after a long day of work. You come home, you feel stressed, man, you're drained. Now this is the cue. You come home from work, the cue. Then the next phase will always be desire. And I wish I felt better. I wish I had some energy. I wish I'd just be able to relax. Right? The desire. And the desire will cause you to perform a certain behavior. It can be a lot of things. Now, this is what your the conscious mode decides the first time, right? until he finds a pattern that works. So in this example, let's say he takes a run, takes a jog, and he comes back, he feels amazing, and that's the reward. And this is a habit, this is a pattern, and this is a full cycle, right? That's how that works. Now, the behavior can be one of many things. You know, a lot of people turn on the PlayStation when they get home to relax, or start scrolling on their phone, or smoking cigarettes. Maybe go to the gym, maybe prepare and cook good food, maybe dance, whatever. It can be anything, as long as it's logical for you, that the desire is going to be fulfilled, and that the conscious, or yeah, that the conscious mode actually recognizes, okay, the desire has been fulfilled, and then it's going to be set in stone. It's going to be saved, almost like a skill on like Claude Code, or a skill on Claude. It's going to be saved and put in the automatic mode, and you're going to be running with this. So every time you come home from work now, you'll be tying your running shoes without even thinking about it, right? That's how that goes. Now, I want you to look at where you are right now in life, and I want you to think about where you want to be. What is something you want to become? A goal you have. Now, this goal, you can only achieve it by creating the correct patterns for it in order to get there. If, let's say, I want to get ripped, then the pattern I have to create for myself is that I go to the gym every day, is that I sleep on time. The pattern that I need to create is that I eat properly, eat enough protein. These are patterns I need to create to get to my goal. And if I would just focus on these patterns, I would guarantee achieve my goal, right? So how do you decide these patterns? Well, what you gotta do is you gotta look at where you wanna go first. What is the result you want? A goal. The only reason you have a goal is so you have a direction you want to go. And because you can create an identity that would be able to achieve that goal. Or rather, an identity that is that goal. An identity that is that goal. Why? Well, the way you look at yourself, the identity you have, will create the habits you have. The identity you have will create the habits you have. If I think of myself as, let's say, a gym bro, what will I do? Without even thinking about it, I will go to the gym. I'll eat a lot of protein. I'll sleep on time, because that's just who I am, right? That's just who I am. I am a gym bro. So this is what I do. Now, this is something very, very powerful, because it can be rather difficult to just try and adopt habits based on the goal you see, and then kind of go for it, shoot in the dark. And you have to really mentally drag yourself into the gym every time, or get yourself to bed every time, because it's not really you, you know? And then it's going to be very difficult. But if you think of yourself as somebody who's fit, who's healthy, as somebody who's a gym bro, then it's going to be very easy. All these tasks, all these behaviors you need to do are based around this one identity, around this core, which is going to give you that result, which is being ripped, which will come with a lot of other benefits, of course, but this is the result, the direction you want it to go. Now, that's how you get to the good habits. That's how you get to the good results. But to get to the good results, you'll probably have to eliminate some bad habits or bad patterns that the old identity you had has ingrained in the auto mode. Now, how do you do that? Well, first, let's stick with the example of I want to be ripped. And let's say a bad habit I have is I order out every evening. I order pizza, I order fries, whatever, I order stuff. And it's mostly bad food. Okay, well, that's a very bad pattern, obviously, because it's in the way of your goal, and it's uh, it's opposing your identity because you're a healthy guy. You don't know the route, right? Now, because you're a healthy guy, it will most likely be very easy to stop doing that because you don't identify with it anymore. It's not part of you anymore. You won't do it. But if it is more difficult, what you could do, or what I highly recommend you do, is you grab a pen of paper and you think back to, okay, what is a pattern exactly? Okay, a pattern has a cue, a pattern then has a desire, a pattern has a behavior, which is in this case ordering the food, and then a pattern has a result, which is a full stomach. Okay, what is the cue in this instance? Think about that. How does this pattern start every time again? How does this pattern start? Where is the beginning of the loop? Example, you come home from work and you just trained, which makes you extra hungry, and you're very tired, and you don't have any energy left to cook. So you desire a full stomach, some energy. So the result, the behavior is you call up your local pizzeria and you order a pizza. Easy enough. Okay, so this is the cycle I'm going through. This is the cycle I'm going through. And now you can think, okay, what would a healthy person do instead? Okay, well, maybe a healthy person would have prepped a meal so you can just put it in the microwave. It's quicker, it's easier, and it's healthy. Okay, so this is what I gotta do now. And that's how you can solve these problems and these bad patterns, by simply shifting from an identity, disclosing, okay, this is the cue, this is where it starts, this is the desire. So now the behavior is the problem, you know the behavior is the problem, you're probably disappointed about the behavior. So, but now you know where it comes from and why you have it. Because of this cue, because of this desire. And then you can think of a different solution, fitting, matching the identity you have, the identity you need for your goal. So this is how you can move through life more efficiently towards your goals. It's all about the patterns, remember? It's all about the patterns. Hope you learned something new today about patterns and how you can change your life for the better by doing simple things, by thinking about an identity you need to take on to achieve a goal, and then matching that behavior with the identity because you want to stay consistent. I hope it works for you. For me, the identity thing was very big. I smoked cigarettes for a while until I realized, hey, I'm a very productive man, and cigarettes are not very productive. The nicotine kick is not strong enough to really make me think better or work harder. It makes my mouth feel disgusting or taste disgusting, which takes up extra time when I want to flush my mouth after smoking it. Smoking it on its own takes a lot of time. Hey, wait a second, this is not for me. And once I realized that, it did not fit in with my identity. I was able to quit like this, and I never thought about a cigarette again. So once you realize, hey, I am not somebody who orders out, I am not somebody who smokes, it's going to be very easy. Be very delighted to hear what it worked out for you. So think about it, write, think, actually write stuff down. Look at these patterns, where do they start? And if it helped you out in any way, shape or form, feel free to share the video with somebody who might need it, who's addicted to something bad, who has some bad patterns you know of, and you know maybe he's trying to change. Maybe this might be the extra push he needs. So inshallah, that will be it, and see you guys next time.